Welcome to the Kevin Dunn Show. Hope you're having a great day. And as always, we thank you so much for joining us today. Have you ever wanted to travel to Israel or Jerusalem, but the cost was just too much? Well, there's a place here in LaGrange, Georgia called Explorations In Antiquity that can give you that same experience. When we come back from the commercial break, we're going to introduce our special guest, and we're going to be talking about the Explorations In Antiquity in LaGrange, Georgia.
At Charter Bank, you get totally free checking with online statements. You betcha. Free mobile banking, free online banking, free online bill pay, free debit card, even a new account gift. Free. At Charter Bank, we're here to wow you. And totally free checking is just the beginning. Come see us or open online at charterbank.net. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Choosing a new home can be one of the most difficult decisions of your life, whether the choice is for you or a loved one. Poplar Creek specializes in intimate, individual, personal care for each resident through a staff that knows each resident personally. Poplar Creek is a senior living community specializing in senior living and memory care. Dining is always a relaxing event in their beautiful dining area where they provide full table service. Enjoy a full list of amenities, including a beautiful outside walking area and a beauty and barber salon. Make the right choice. Make Poplar Creek your new home.
Welcome back to the Kevin Dunn Show, where our special guest is Hannaniah Pinto. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Good to be here.
Great. And you're with the Explorations in Antiquity Center here in LaGrange?
That's correct.
Now tell us a little bit about you and where you're from.
Oh, that's a long story. Originally born in Brazil, with a great desire to live in Israel. So as soon as I finished college, I just packed my bags and sold my goldfish, moved to Jerusalem, where I had the blessings and pleasure to live for 26 years. And then in 2005, I came here to LaGrange to help put together the Antiquity Center.
Antiquity Center. Okay, that's a big word. A lot of people may not know what that means.
Right.
What does Exploration in Antiquity mean?
Well, together with Dr. James Fleming, that is an archaeologist and lived in Israel for over 30 years, that has really a great desire to teach biblical stories using archaeology, we decided to move our center from Jerusalem, Israel, to LaGrange, Georgia. And that's how we came to be here.
So who was influential in allowing the Exploration in Antiquity to come into existence here in LaGrange, Georgia, which is an incredible, I mean, every time I go, it's like a new experience to me. I mean, it's just, you have to visit this place. So who was influential in bringing that?
Well, after living so long in Israel, we didn't really had good connections in the U.S. We didn't have really a place that we prefer over other places. But in writing to different foundations and different people, churchy people, and that kind of, who could help us start. The Callaway Foundation was very prompt in answering and saying, if you come and build in LaGrange, we will be able to help you financially. And we said, well, let me think about it. Okay.
So Callaway Foundation was influential?
Was one of the main people that helped us to be here. And then through that, we had other connections and other ministries that are in this region. And being in a nice, warm part of the country that resembled Israel a little bit. So that is what helped us to be here.
So how many years have you been in LaGrange?
We started building in 2005. So we came to LaGrange in 2004.
Okay.
So since then. And every day we're building, for many years we kept building the center, and today we have 24 different replicas. They're full-size replicas
that's true.
of archaeological sites that we have in Israel. And each one of those sites help us to exemplify a Bible story or a person's life in biblical stories. So when we're talking about Abraham and Sarah, we have the tents and a desert area. And when we're talking about the agriculture life, we have olive trees and fig trees
Yes.
and pomegranates. So it's a cool place.
All right.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it is. It's like I said, it's a wonderful place. What is the purpose of the Exploration in Antiquity Center?
We really see our purpose as helping people in the U.S. to understand the culture of the Bible. It's not necessarily a religious place, but it's a place that you can come and see when the Bible is talking about rain or fall or pestilence or drought. Why is that? No, and the land of Israel is very prop for that. So by building and having those things together in here, you can have a 1 hour walk, and that's almost like a full Bible study, where you kind of experience the terrain and the visuals that should be there in the Bible that most people misses on their Sunday school.
Exactly.
Because you don't have that.
So basically, this is you just said it. It's a huge Sunday school class, the Exploration Antiquity Center.
Yes, particularly if that's your approach.
Okay.
No, if you come with the approach of a religious experience and you come with your Sunday school, that's perfect, and we can do that. And then we're going to quote from the Bible and read verses from the Bible to prove what we're talking about. But if you come with a school or a group of friends that's not necessarily Sunday school, then you're having a wonderful cultural experience. Now you're talking about people in the desert, how they make coffee, how they drink, how they have a good time, how they put together their tents and how they take care of their animals. So it's more social, cultural things. And we've been really, really lucky with our staff.
Right.
We have a number of personal people that are very experienced, and each one can speak to the groups at the group level.
Right.
If you have a group of kids and they're running around, so we have somebody that runs around with them.
All right. Okay. Now, Dr. Fleming is actually one of the top archaeologists in the world. When you say the top 10 or top 20?
Well, if you ask me, the answer is yes. If you ask him, he probably say no.
Okay.
Yes, he has been featured on several archaeological journals and several archaeological books, and he has under his belt a number of great findings that he did in Israel through the years that he lived there. He helped organize and really worked on several digs that produced great discoveries. So my suggestion is Google Jim Fleming, archaeologist, and then you find all the things that
All the things he did. Okay, great. Now, Dr. Fleming is actually, he actually teaches conferences at the center, and he's teaching a conference on the situation that's going on in the Middle East right now. Is that?
We just finished.
Just finished.
Yes.
So
yes.
When is the next time he'll be teaching?
Well, he is available to go to anybody's church or school at any time. So you can call us and try to schedule one of his lectures in your own congregation. But yes, we just finished one conference at the center that had a very good attendance, and he was speaking about the political situation in the Middle East and biblical issues. And the next conference will be in November.
November?
Yes, November. So look up for some ads coming up and make your plans to come and join us.
Wow, that's good. Now, I've been on 4 tours out at the center. I mean, you, a couple of others.
If you come one more tour, we'll make you a volunteer.
Actually, I'm trying to do that, but just can't squeeze it in. But you guys are so knowledgeable about the Bible and knowledgeable about what's at the center.
Yes.
And it's just really a blessing to be able to experience the Exploration in Antiquity. Now, tell us about, do you have some special events coming up for the Christmas season?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Our life in the center is becoming a little bit scheduled, and that's good. So we have, in the spring, we have the Easter time, so we have the Easter walks. And then in the summer, we have vacation Bible schools that we like to call it Bible Land Adventures for kids. And then in the fall and the winter, we have the Christmas show. So yes, plan to come with us. From November and December, we have what we call Follow the Stars. And we have the center decorated, and people can come. And the tour that we do is the same tours, the same sites, of course, but the approach is from the biblical Christmas side. So we're following with the shepherds, and we're going to see the king in the palace, and then we find the baby in the manger. And that is really nice. And because it's the season, so the whole ambiance in the Antiquity Center changes, because it's cold, and we have a couple of bonfires burning, so have that smoky air, and that adds to the ambience. So it's cool. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Yes, it is. And he's not kidding. It's real nice. Now, once again, like I said, we're in LaGrange, Georgia. You have, the Israeli government has released some valuable artifacts to you guys that you have at the center. I mean, how did that happen? How did you get Israel to let you have a part of them?
Let me quote Ben-Gurion. Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, said, in Israel, if you don't believe in miracles, you are not realistic. So, no, we needed to believe in miracles. So, at one time, we decided to approach the Minister of Antiquities in Israel and ask if we have a room to accommodate those antiquity pieces. Would you consider giving us a few? You have so many. And to our surprise, the answer was, make a list, give it to us, and we'll see what we can do. And no, there's no reason why not to. So a couple of years later, there comes one big container, and we have 250 original pieces from Israel. That is really unique. We have a piece that is 40,000 years old.
40,000 years old?
40,000 years old. It's a little piece of flint that somebody in a cave made that far long. I have another piece that I really love. I think it's my favorite. It's a little clay bowl. That's very small, like a cereal bowl. But the date of that bowl is from the time of Abraham and Sarah.
Wow.
And every time I walk there, and I see that little bowl that's perfect, not chipped, not broken, nothing. Not even fired, it's just clay. I think, wow, could that be the little bowl that Esau and Jacob shared the lentil soup, the lentil stew, on deciding who has the right of the firstborn? Right. No, and it's there for you to see it. So it's great. It's great.
In LaGrange, Georgia.
Right over here, right next door, on your own backyard. And
there are not too many facilities in the U.S. of this magnitude, correct?
Well, there's other places that are archaeological or has different antique, unique pieces, but nothing that is Middle Eastern. And our focus is Israel because of the biblical connection. So to have those pieces that came from lands in Israel, from biblical sites that are mentioned in the Bible, like Beersheba and Jerusalem and other sites, plus the fact that that is a permanent loan. So I think that we are only the fifth place in America that has real artifacts from Israel on a permanent loan. By permanent loan means if we don't do anything wrong, there's no reason that they ask it back.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So, and we're not planning to do anything wrong.
So you have to handle everything with care.
Very much so.
And they have to trust you, no doubt.
Oh yes. They for the installation of the things and opening of the crates, because that was flown here, they send a curator with the boxes. Okay. And then we open, and then he personally checked that everything arrived. What was supposed to be broken was broken.
All right.
What was not supposed to be broken was not broken on the shipping, and that was the main point.
Valuable. And then, since we're going to have to pause and take a quick commercial break, hold that thought. When we come back from the commercial break, we're going to be finding out more of your interesting artifacts that are in the gallery at the Explorations in Antiquity. What are you doing for lunch today?
Man, I don't know. I was thinking about some wings.
Well, I know where we're going. DJ's. DJ's has bone-in wings, hot or mild, lemon pepper, barbecue, and you gotta try the sweet and spicy.
And DJ's also has boneless wings.
They've got delicious fish and steak sandwiches.
And their salads are big enough to even fill me up.
And top it off with a fruit and ice frozen drink.
Man, I'm hungry.
We're headed to DJ's.
Life in the country is a conscious choice. And with that choice comes hard work, attention to detail, and investing in the right tools to keep your home or farm at its best. So why choose anything but the very best zero turns on the market today? Exmark. Known for their durability, precision cut, and time-saving performance, Exmarks are the preferred brand of mowing equipment for the landscape professional and people like you who take pride in their lawn. For special pricing incentives, visit exmark.com or your local dealer.
Welcome back to the Kevin Dunn Show, where our special guest today is Hannaniah Pinto, from the Explorations in Antiquity here in LaGrange, a great center. You have to visit it. You have to go to and experience. We were talking before the commercial break about the artifacts that are housed in the gallery. So tell us about some of your favorite.
Oh,
I know there's many.
I can be here all day.
All right.
Like I said, we have 250 pieces. And some of the pieces are very small, like coins or piece of glass. But other pieces are large, like we have an ossuary that is 2,500 years old.
Wow.
And we have bone boxes that are called ossuaries. We have 3 of those, each one from a different geology and a different design and a different period. So all there, so no. So when you're talking about people died and was buried and that person lived so many years, so how does that work? So you need to see those little things, little things that are very common at the time. You do believe that you need to preserve the body parts or the bones or something for the day of the resurrection. So it's nice to have those things there. So
that's good.
And when we're seeing that, really makes it closer to home for us to understand what's happening. The other thing that they had, Kevin, was they had a tradition of giving little gifts to the dead. No momentum that you like that person so much, and now you're no longer going to see that person. So give them a little present, so they take with them to the grave. Those presents, one found, are fantastic, because it's something that you just bought from the shop or you made it yourself, and then you laid in the grave, and then it stayed in the grave for 2,000, 3,000 years. And now we found it. It's still like just came from the shop.
That's
not
incredible.
chipped, not broken. So it's great.
That's great. That's
and
great.
each one of them tells a story.
Tell the story.
Each one tells a story. And when you walk in the place, you actually can feel the energy.
Yes.
It's not replicas. It's not
Exactly.
plastic.
Exactly.
It's something that somebody carefully made for a purpose so long ago. So we really have fun showing these things to everybody that comes.
Now, $1 million question. Do you have anything in the museum that Jesus physically touched, or that was in his presence, or that was close by him, or just anything that was in his vicinity? Is anything?
That is $1 million question.
Okay.
No, we don't have anything that we can say.
All right.
That way, because it would be too much.
Right.
How can you prove that
Right.
Jesus touched or did this?
Right.
Now, having said that, we have a very large grinding stone that normally is used by 2 women that would be moving around grinding the wheat, right? And Jesus says, 2 women will be two women will be grinding. One shall be taken, and the other be left behind. Well, he's talking about that particular, not that physical particular stone, but a stone like that, and that is from the right period. Would love to be able to say that.
Okay.
But and then in the same direction, we have a number of coins.
Right. Okay.
Right? Jesus was buying and selling things.
That's right.
And he dealing with money. So could be that he touched one of those coins. There you go.
All right. So what are some programs you have at the Center for Children?
I really like to think that the Antiquity Center is actually helping us to create the new generation of archaeologists. What do I mean by that? Right there we have a place that we call Kids Dig, and it's 4 replicas of areas that was dug in Israel, and it's covered with sand. And when the children come, they have an introduction of what to do, and then they jump in the sand container and just start digging up. And they find coins, they find pottery, they find glass, they find snails and shells and all that. And that is fantastic, because they get so excited. And many of those pieces are discarded pieces from the site.
Right.
So we just grab them from the dump in Israel and brought to put in our place. So sometimes the kids are holding something in their hands that literally is 3,000 years old. And we hope that by doing that, we're triggering a little light on the kids' mind, saying, hey, archaeology is fun. And perhaps we needed to give more credit for that and allow the children to dream about becoming an archaeologist, because in Israel, we have over 6,000 sites. Most of them have not even been touched yet. So Dr. Fleming likes to say that the great the great discoveries are yet to be made. And we already know so much and already talking so much about what we have, but certainly there's a lot of things that we don't know yet because has never been found. So we need more hands to excavate.
Right, and I know the kids love that. Anytime kids can come in and dig and play in dirt, I know, especially the boys, I know they love that.
They do.
Now, even though we have Israel here in LaGrange at the Explorations In Antiquity Center, do you offer tours or guides to actually take people to Israel?
Yes, actually we do. Because I'm an Israeli and my family are still in Israel, and because there's where our hearts are, and we've been there for so long, we like to go back. And as you know, why to go back just myself? I always like to go and bring my friends along, so that way I can really show the land for everybody. So 3 or 4 times a year, the Explorations in Antiquity Center organize a trip to go to Israel. And Dr. Fleming and myself are the guides of the trip. And because this is our life and that is our passion, no, you don't just go to see the tourist things. We have connections, so we can show things from behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
We have connections, so we can invite a personal friend to come for a lecture, and he perhaps was the archaeologist who discovered something, somewhere in Israel. So that becomes a way more personal. And often we go to restaurants that is full of locals, just because it's the best food, right? And stay away from the large restaurants with hundreds of seats because it's so touristic. So no, let's go have the real food with the real locals and enjoy the places. So 3 or 4 times a year we go to Israel, learn about the land, spend lots of time around the Sea of Galilee. Jesus spent most of his ministry around the Sea of Galilee, so it's important for us to be there. And then we come to Jerusalem, that is the holy city, and visit the areas around the old city of Jerusalem, great museums, great places to visit. The other advantage of Israel is a very small country. So there's not long traveling days, right? And it's not that you need to sit on the bus for 7 hours to get to see one site. You spend the day on the bus, but every hour you're visiting a new site that is equally important.
Right.
And we try to make it also chronological as much as we can. So, first comes the Old Testament and the patriarchs and matriarchs. Then we go to Galilee and have the beginning of Jesus' ministry. And then we come to Jerusalem, and then it's the end of Jesus' ministry with the crucifixion. And it really, really works well.
That's awesome. And I know y'all know where all the hot spots are when the Israeli government can give you artifacts. I know that there's a special connection between you guys.
It's fun.
That's good.
It is really great. It's a blessing.
Good. Now, if you come to the Explorations in Antiquity and you do the tours, there's also another treat, which I totally love because I love to eat. And it's the biblical meal. You get a chance to experience the biblical meal. It's like a 5-6 course meal. Tell us a little bit about the biblical meal that's at the facility.
That is really something that you cannot miss. You see, you can talk about biblical stories and you can talk about biblical people, and it's important and it's interesting. But as you do and as I do, we love to eat. So, and there's a lot of curiosity. What did people eat in biblical times? Jesus is constantly eating with different friends. Some of them that was not even approved by the local population, right? You should not be eating with sinners and people like that. But Jesus was breaking that taboo and that problem by eating. So we have, through the years, developed a meal that we actually sit on a special kind of table. And originally people would be reclining or lying down to eat. We learned some time ago that if you put some Americans lying down, they might not want to get up. Don't just stay there to have a nap. So we just have the people seated around, and the food has been researched to be as food that was available in the time of Jesus.
Right.
So there's lots of nuts, and there's lots of dips, and there's lots of salads and fruits and fresh fruits and dried fruits, as well as other cooking items, and the unleavened bread.
Right.
And the reason that we're doing that is by talking to you about unleavened bread, about bitter herbs, about the sacrifice and the food and the holidays and the feasts, you get in that mood.
Yes.
But the very last important event in Jesus' life was the Last Supper.
The Last Supper, that's right.
So why not to have a meal in the Antiquity Center where we can experience those food items that are very healthy, very good for you, and very tasty, and understand what is happening actually in that last meal that Jesus had. And that's what we do. And you can do that several times a day. It's a fantastic option for a Sunday school service. Works very well as a celebration. If you're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, bring your friend over. Let the Antiquity Center cook for you.
And it's so good. And like I said, I probably had that meal probably about 5 or 6 times. It's still new every time. Still new.
We are always on the lookout for, in farm markets and supermarkets to see which other kind of fresh fruit we have that are mentioned in biblical stories. And then that food get incorporated into our meal. So there's a lot of good recipes. Some recipe that was in my family for a long time, like the haroset. That is a special dish that we eat for Passover. So that is served on the meal. But we also serve a lentil soup, and then of course we have chicken and salad and all kinds of good stuff. You're making me hungry already.
And like I said, it's so good. Got time for one more question.
Okay.
You have a bookstore at the museum.
Yes, we do.
And so as you are leaving the museum, you have the opportunity to purchase items.
That's right. Our bookstore is not only a source of income for the Antiquity Center, but it's also a place where you can learn more about what we're taught. If you come there on an average tour, you spend about 3 hours at the Antiquity Center. But there's so much more that you can learn. So we have all the books, all the lectures that Dr. Fleming has been giving for years and on a public material, so you can buy that book. We have other books that you can have, and all the books are geared to help you to be a better student or a better Sunday school teacher. Many of the gift items that we have there are freshly brought from Israel. Olive wood items, things that were made by Christians in Bethlehem, things that were made by Jews in the country are there available for sale, and they are unique. You cannot really find them anywhere else.
Well, thank you so much. Time has flown. We're out of time right now.
Did.
Well, thank you so much for coming to be a guest on the Kevin Dunn Show. And once again, we thank you for watching. If you do not want to pass the opportunity to visit the Explorations In Antiquity here in LaGrange, Georgia, and remember, if there's a topic that you would like to see discussed on the Kevin Dunn Show, email us at thekevindunshow@wjcntv.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Hannaniah Pinto, for being a guest on the show.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.